This vinyl factory in New Jersey uses pellets to press over 40,000 records a week. Vinyl is now the music industry's highest-grossing physical format.
It's a religious experience. It sounds so good.
And more than 50% of all record sales happen here in the US. But most vinyl is pressed overseas. In fact, one company in the Czech Republic called GZ Media makes 17 million vinyl records a year.
They are the 800-pound gorilla of vinyl pressing. If you end up with one player, they're going to get to do what they want.
But vinyl makers, including GZ, almost went out of business at the turn of the century, when record sales nearly disappeared.
I don't think that anyone in our company envisioned that the vinyl will be strong again.
So what brought vinyl back? And how did a small company in the Czech Republic come to rule the industry?
Drop the needle in place, lock it, and start it up.
The history of recorded music goes back to the late 1800s. That's when Thomas Edison invented the cylinder phonograph that could play back about 2 minutes of audio. In 1887, a German-American inventor, Emil Berliner, developed the first flat disc record.
The hot mixture falls out on great rollers where it is kneaded and rolled into a long, flat sheet.
It was made of shellac, a natural resin from insects.
As it comes out of the machine, circular knives cut it into pieces called biscuits. But before they are used for actual pressing, they must be heated again on steam tables.
But the material was too brittle, which made it difficult to mass produce. Then, in 1948, Columbia Records created these discs from polyvinyl chloride, a durable type of plastic that allowed for finer grooves and longer playing times.
Turns out people love it, and recorded music takes off.
That's Justin Barney. He's been covering the music industry for 12 years.
So vinyl sales, they go up and up and up.
Fueled by new innovations and the birth of rock and roll, American record sales exploded to roughly 200 million in 1950, kicking off vinyl's golden age.
1970 is the peak of vinyl record sales. It will never be passed because there is simply no competition.
At the time, there were over 100 record manufacturers in the world, including a small company called Gramofonové Zavody, or GZ Vinyl, from what was then Czechoslovakia. The country's communist government launched it in 1951 to supply countries across the Eastern Bloc with records.
We were not a democratic country, so some censorship and regulation were active here.
Now, GZ is the largest vinyl manufacturer in the world. The process starts with mastering, where an engineer fine-tunes the music to get the best sound quality.
It's not really a copy or paste. You have to really be a musician also.
The final audio is transferred to the cutting machine, where a stylus carves sound grooves on a copper plate. The tip is made from diamond, which makes precise and sharp cuts in the metal without wearing it out over time. This plate is what's called a master record. But copper is too soft for pressing out thousands of records. So GZ first has to make copies out of nickel in a process called electroforming. These copies are called stampers. Each of these stampers will be used to press up to 2,000 vinyls. These pellets are what the final records will be made of.
Green, pink, a yellow.
After machines press the pellets into discs, the edges are trimmed off. Today, GZ presses over 70 million vinyls a year. But there was a time when vinyl was on the way out. In 1962, a Dutch engineer and his team at Philips invented cassette tapes. They soared in popularity in the US. But it was the launch of the Sony Walkman in 1979 that was a game changer for that format. Pre-recorded music now became portable.
Think of like the world then when you're just able to listen to the radio. You have zero control over what you're listening to. And then suddenly you could listen to whatever you wanted to listen to. That must have just been an absolute revelation.
In 1983, cassette sales surpassed vinyl sales. But that craze didn't last for long, as CDs soon hit American shelves. Vinyl struggled to compete with these formats.
They're smaller, they're lighter, they can fit tons of more music on them. A vinyl record, like a 45, you can hold less than 4 minutes on a side. And a CD, you can hold like something like an hour.
CDs cost less than $1 to make, and companies resold them for up to $20. Then, in the early 2000s, MP3 players like iPods flooded the market.
The fact is, I'm not going to want to bring my entire song collection with me all the time, so might as well have something that looks fresh and funky.
With all this competition, by 2005, vinyl sales hit an all-time low. Dozens of record manufacturers shut their doors.
All the machines moved to kind of dark corner of the company.
Jeezy saw almost a 97% drop in sales. The company pivoted to offering print and packaging services. But Jeezy never stopped vinyl production entirely.
We kind of hoped that it will survive, but we never thought that this will be the main product of our company in the future.
Meanwhile, back in the US, some stores were keeping records alive, like Amoeba Music out of California. It tapped into fans of alternative subcultures like hip-hop and techno.
People seeing DJs and being like, that's cool, I want to do that.
Amoeba thrived by buying and selling rare used records as well as CDs and cassettes at a time when MP3s dominated the industry.
It is kind of a living encyclopedia of music.
Today, the selection here is carefully curated by staff that live and breathe music, like Mark Beaver.
When you take them out, this little area at the end of the runout is called the matrix, and there are little numbers stamped in there, and those will indicate which pressing plant it was at, what year it was pressed.
Mark says original pressings are usually more valuable than reissues of the same record.
So, Yesterday and Today by the Beatles was first released with a picture of them wearing lab coats, baby doll parts. There was such a reaction to it that the company immediately pulled them back off the shelves. Let's say you had the original cover. It could be worth thousands.
But even with iconic finds, Mark has to carefully inspect their condition before determining their value.
This record, it's something that is consistently in demand, but it's been through the ringer. It's all coming apart a little bit at the corners. And then when I take it out, there's scratches deep enough you can slightly feel them with your fingers, and that means that you're going to hear them.
On busy days, the store sells up to 1,000 records.
Our all-time high sellers would be Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division, The Wall by Pink Floyd, and Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
While Amoeba kept records spinning during vinyl's dark days, some experts say vinyl's comeback was carefully being planned.
I think a big part of the reason that vinyl came back was marketing, scarcity, and variance.
In 2008, music stores, artists, and record labels got together and established Record Store Day, when independent shops offer exclusive vinyl.
They make the list. And the list is a couple hundred records that are going to be released specially and only on that day. And so that involves buy-in from labels and manufacturers because they make the list and then they announce it with Record Store Day.
The result? lines out the door, and sales increased over 100% that year. By 2010, big retailers like Target and Walmart ramped up their record selection too.
That opens them up to a whole new audience, to cities that don't have an independent record store, to somebody who's shopping for somebody else who would never even go into a record store.
Labels also hooked listeners by releasing more limited edition records. Stuff you can't find on Apple or Spotify. Soon, global pop music icons, including Adele and Taylor Swift, began prioritizing the format.
If you could get a lot of records sold, you could make a lot of money. Vinyl is the biggest moneymaker per unit for the artist. It's better than streaming, but at the same time, you don't sell as many vinyl records. So the streaming is a big multiplier by a small amount. The vinyl is a small multiplier by a big amount.
You get about 1,000 records and then you have to change it.
Sal Roccanova oversees record production at Independent Record Pressing, or IRP. Founded in New Jersey during the 2015 vinyl boom.
The artwork, the lyrics, the colors, that's really what brought it back. There's a statistic that 40% of the records that are sold are never played. They're more there for collection.
And it's not just the covers that have to be eye-catching, but even the records. More than half of IRP's orders are for colored vinyl. It offers 100 different shades. To create these, workers grind and melt down old records along with their scraps.
If you don't like one of these colors, we blend stuff together and start to make other colors. It's kind of like clothes. Pastels are in, and no, it's more earth colors.
What's the color that's in right now?
Obviously orange, right?
The company presses roughly 45,000 records a week. Its output even includes Minecraft's video game soundtrack. But keeping up with demand hasn't been easy.
A lot of people that break into this think that, oh, I'm going to take the machine, I'm going to plug it in and hit a button and records are going to come flying out. Nothing could be further from the truth.
For IRP, orders really started booming in 2020.
We had thought that physical media was going to drop by about 25% during the COVID era.
Instead, vinyl sales surpassed CDs, and the following year increased to over $1 billion.
People were staying home. They couldn't go to a music venue, so they said, I'm going to support the artist by buying vinyl records.
The company added a weekend and night shift just to keep up.
The labels who were trying to get their records pressed on vinyl were seeing that, my gosh, there's a shortage of capacity.
But opening up new vinyl plants during the pandemic wasn't quick or easy. Companies that originally made vinyl presses hadn't fully come back since the format's resurgence. So many plants were stuck using decades-old machines.
It's almost like having an old car that constantly breaks down, and you know how to open the hood and wiggle the wire or tap on something to get it to go again.
So labels were waiting up to twice as long to get their records, with lead times stretching from 4 weeks to 7.
Nobody was loving us at the time, as hard as we were trying.
In 2023, lockdowns were lifted and the bubble burst.
The labels overordered. So all that hooting and howling and hurry up, I need my records, they stopped ordering. Now you had umpteen pressing plants to compete with.
When the dust settled, one plant had risen to the top, GZ Media. The company already had an edge because it never stopped producing vinyl. While everyone else scrambled to find machinery and talent, GZ had updated equipment and kept a team with decades of experience.
They are miles ahead of everybody else. They're leagues above everybody.
GZ now owns 10 production facilities across the globe, including several pressing plants in North America, and it produces roughly 7 times more records than the biggest US manufacturer.
They are the 800-pound gorilla of vinyl pressing. And that kind of gets on my nerves a little bit, to be honest with you.
Still, independent manufacturers like IRP are making millions of records a year.
There are some labels who say, I will not have my record pressed overseas. It will get pressed in the United States. And then there's some, they don't care. They just want a lower cost. That's really destructive to the industry because if you end up with one player, they're going to get to do what they want.
I don't think that independence will ever die. I think that there will always be artists who want to support local record pressers. Competition is good. And GZ are great competitors. But like, it's a whole industry that they have the potential to decimate.
In response to this concern, GZ told us it's, quote, built a strong local presence in the US, creating local jobs and bringing new technologies to the market. But whether it's a small record maker or a big one, it doesn't seem like these pressers are going quiet again anytime soon.
It's gotta come down at some point. It just seems inevitable that it would level off, but it hasn't.
Nerd stuff. Okay, so does vinyl sound better than digital? If done right from beginning to end, it's a religious experience. It sounds so good. But when people talk about vinyl sounding better, they're usually talking about the golden age of vinyl and when music was recorded to tape and then that tape was translated to vinyl itself. And then you hear this is as close as you could get to being in the room when they recorded. Nowadays, you have a lot of digital that goes into this physical medium where if they don't treat it right before it translates to vinyl, you're not gonna get all the fine details. In my opinion though, to keep it short, after saying a lot of words, yes, it does sound better.